Danish, a warm welcome to you on behalf of UK Asian Film Festival and, of course, Tongues on Fire. Unfortunately we couldn't really keep the festival today, this year due to the whole COVID-19 outbreak and, of course, because of lockdown. But I hope you're safe and I hope you're keeping well. And thank you for joining us today for
Of
this
course.
conversation.
Thank you so much for having me today. Yeah, I know, tough times, but we're all together in this. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And a huge congratulations on The Legal. I watched the film and I was incredibly moved by it as well. So the fact that I just want to begin by saying, actually, the fact that you've moved from South Asia and studied in the US, how much of The Illegal actually derives from your personal experiences?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest, of course, it's very personal to me. It's not a biography. That's a lot of people think that it is, but it's not. It's fiction, of course. But the major part of being an immigrant in US and sort of starting from nothing, from the scratch, and coming here as a student from a middle class family and living that student's life, international student's life. It's been a tough journey living that American dream, but
Yeah,
I've also seen like a lot of people are not able to make it. So
sure.
uh, and I felt like with this film, it was very important to sort of,
Just on that.
you know,
Mm, yeah,
sort of hit on those stories. Yeah,
exactly.
not there's always not a story. Not everyone is,
As
that
fortunate.
lucky.
Yes. And I think that's
Reality.
a very good point you've made there as well. And I think it's very important because often when we see migrant stories, it's always about, almost it being fairy tale. And I think you've really stuck to reality in this one. So I think that must have been quite a conscious decision on your part as well to keep it grounded and keep it as rooted as possible, right?
Absolutely. I mean, whatever I do, I just want to make sure it's as real as possible. And
Mm,
the audience sort of lives through the character's journey and make choices with him and understand and empathize with him. So,
sure.
yeah, I think that's also my casting, that really helps with that as well. Yeah.
Mm, yes. No, I'm sure. I'm sure it does. I'm glad you talked about that. In fact, we'll be talking about the casting in just a moment. But and I know you've just touched upon this as well in your response just now. But has there ever been an incident in your life where you also have been trapped between dreams and duty? And in what way did you overcome that?
I mean, always, right? I mean, I also have a computer science degree. And I was also an engineer, and that was a choice that I had to make because where we come from, it's always an obvious choice. It's either medicine or engineer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I, no, we can totally relate to that in every South Asian, But my parents have been really supportive in this journey, and I was the lucky one who was able to sort of switch from that career where I was being able to pay my bills to an independent film journey where you never know what's going to happen. It's very hard to get your film out, get your film completed, doing everything independently. But I made this decision because it's something I really thought I want to do, and I felt like I can't sort of. I didn't have any other choice. This is
Yes.
something I really
Mm,
like, and this I sort of made to do. Sometimes you just have to take those steps for your dreams.
yeah.
They
Uh,
always don't come true. There's always obstacles to it. But I think if you sort of make a decision, not a lot of people are able to do that. But
mm.
once you do that, I think things are a little, you know, there's
The
some
most,
light in there.
yes,
And
absolutely. No, no, I completely see where you're coming from, and I agree with that as well. But speaking a bit more about the legal, I think because it is such a powerful story, and yet a very scary and shocking true, like story as well, which is literally happening in front of our eyes and beneath our noses. I think it is quite eye-opening. So, what research did you undergo for the legal? I mean, did you meet with undocumented workers in particular, and especially those who work in restaurants as well?
yeah, so when I was a student, of course, I went to UCLA, and there's so many immigrants and international students around me all the time, and I was able to see their journeys, how many jobs they were doing to survive in US and making their dreams come true. But also a lot of restaurant workers, where I used to go to these Indian restaurants. I met so many people who had to quit their education in order to sort of survive and take care of their families back home. And I actually met those real people here in US. And even now, after like 10, 12 years, when I go to the same restaurant, the same people are still working there. So it's not something that is not real. It's actually inspired by real people, by real stories of people who were not able to make it. As you can see in the film, it concludes with that whole narrative that it's not just his story. There's so many other people trapped in this
Yes.
American. And yes, so I did meet people who actually gone through this, especially in restaurants, and that was an inspiration behind this film right away. And I
Mm.
was shocked to see that this side of America also exists. You know, you always see one side, and then you're introduced to this side, and you're like, oh my god, is this what American dream is all about? You know?
Exactly. And I think it really raises questions on that. And in fact, it's quite different to see as well because the main protagonist in your film in particular was not one who actually had stars in his eyes. He wasn't particularly starry-eyed about the American dream or trying to strive for a better lifestyle. He was just really passionate about film. And I think that's what really sets this one apart. In fact, speaking on that topic as well, usually when we see stories about South Asian immigrants in America or in any other Western country, there's always that whole focus on the backlash and racism aspect. But for you as a filmmaker, I mean, how difficult was it for you to steer away from that and not get trapped in just showcasing that only?
I think we were very specific when this from the very screenplay level. Like we were very specific that we wanted to make a film that everyone can relate to, and it was not pinpointing fingers. You're wrong. You're right. You know, it was just Hassan's story and sort of audience to see his journey, a filmmaker's journey. It's so difficult. Like, I can relate to it as a filmmaker. How difficult it is to
Yeah.
make your dream come true. And I was also a student, and Suraj Sharma, he's also been a film school student,
Yes,
and
that's
he
true.
knows the journey. So, you know, I think audience, we didn't, instead of being a sort of a documentary style, like where you pinpoint fingers, we wanted to make it a human story about a young guy, a naive guy who has dreams and how he gets trapped and, you know, how he comes out of it and the choices he has to make. So
Mm,
it was always a human character driven narrative, you know. What will Hassan do if this happens? What will Hassan do? That's how the whole thing was set
mm.
up.
And I think I guess we can speak about this as well. The fact that you mentioned Suraj Sharma just now, and I think it's so amazing to see his journey. I think from Life of Pi to now this, I think it's just been a very upward trajectory, and I think that's great to see. But the cast selection itself is very interesting. You know, the fact that you've got people like Adil Hussain, and you've obviously got Neelima Azim, Shweta Tripathi, so many amazing actors who are doing such amazing work on the Indian cinema and of course the global front as well. But what determined your choice in actors in particular? Was it something you were actively looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, I love casting process. You know, it's something that I really, really, you know, sort of get really involved in. Of course, you know, they say casting is directing. You get the right actors, most of your job is always already done. It was always the script was always written with Suraj in mind, and it happened at the right time when he was graduating from school, and he could right away relate to this character, and it all came together. You know, he was, you know, he had taken a break from Homeland after Homeland,
Yeah.
and this was like sort of so the character was written for him, and he said yes. I was like, oh my god, this is like my dream cast. And all these other actors, I met them in festival. Neelimaji is like family to me, you know.
Mm.
um, I always wanted her to be part of this. Adil ji, Shweta, we all met at film festivals with my other film before this,
Okay.
and it's all connected, yeah, relations, and they were like I wrote the character with Shweta in mind, you know, and then I was like, oh, it has to be Adil Hussain. I'm such a huge fan, and even like casting like Jay Ali and Iqbal Thiba, who
Yeah.
here in, I mean, they're amazing and incredible, and I mean, I was very specific of people I wanted to cast, like Jay Ali too. You know, years ago, I wanted to cast Jay Ali in one of the short films, and then he did this Daredevil, you know, with Marvel, and he's
Yeah.
doing so well right now, you know. But I always want to work with him, and I have a set of actors that I want to work with, and I sort of, you know, once the script is ready, the film for project is ready, I approach these
Mm.
people. So I think I was very, very clear with the people I want in this film.
Okay. So would you say it's probably a combination of experience, of ideas, and just seeing people's work? I guess would you say it's a combination of those three aspects, right?
Absolutely. Also relations, you know.
Okay. Mm.
As you see, like Atul Hussain usually does lead characters. This was a small role, but
Mm.
it was more just, you know, doing working together. He also wanted to be part of. He wanted to play Suraj's father again after Life
Yeah.
of Pi, even though they
I was
never
gonna
meet,
say,
but you can feel the relation. You know, it was very familiar. You know,
that was nice.
so. Yeah, it was amazing casting this film. I'm so excited that I was able to have this brilliant cast of amazing people to work
Hmm.
with.
So taking that one step further, then, I mean, was it a conscious decision for you not to choose typical commercial or mainstream actors for the film?
Yeah, I mean, the budget determines that, right? And it was shot in LA, and I wanted to be. I mean, Suraj was always the right choice for this, and he's a lead. I always wanted him to be part of it. The
Hmm.
character was written for him with his age group in mind and everything, right?
Hmm.
I never see this commercial and this. I don't know, it's like who's the right person to do this, and what your budget can afford. All
True.
these things come together at the end.
True.
But doing a specific Bollywood film where you have to go to theaters and you have this kind of budget, this is like making film with shoestring budget, and
Hmm.
we were still able to achieve so much. Very proud of that. Yeah,
No,
with very
definitely.
little monies.
Yeah, absolutely. No, no, no. And I think it was very aesthetic as well with the way it was presented. It didn't seem as if it was a shoestring budget film. I think with your angles as a director and the way the cinematography was all very well done, I think, as well. So congratulations once again on that.
Thank
So
you.
I think what I've noticed about your films in particular, especially, many of your works, including this film and of course Half Widow, which I thought was extremely amazing as well, they revolve around the themes of self-discovery and dealing with extraordinary circumstances, ordinary people dealing with extraordinary
I
circumstances.
love that. So bad. Yeah, you just got it right. Yeah.
So is this something you actively look out for as well when you're choosing a project or when you choose to write a
Yeah.
project?
Yeah, I want to write. I mean, if like film like Half Hero you just mentioned, it's about such a big topic about Kashmir and conflict. But my story was about this one young girl and her journey, and I think that's something I want to. I love character-driven narratives and saying so much, but through a character. You don't have to go political. Like Half Hero is, if you look at it, it's such a political film, but no one ever, like from Pakistan to India to any country, had any issues with it because it's such a human story. It's about
Yeah,
a girl. Everything is seen through her point of view. So
no,
I think we are not politicians, we are like filmmakers, and I think if we go as human as possible and tell stories of these ordinary lives and how they're affected by circumstances around them, I think people are able to connect to it in a deeper level. And also I think it's something very personal for me, also very gratifying to see that happen.
And I think that's a very good point you made there because often when we see films regarding Kashmir as well, there's often a lot of talk about the political ramifications, the conflict, and we all know what the situation is like. And I think it's perhaps best to just show the
Google it.
human side of it and the emotion side of it. And and I'm really glad that there's at least a filmmaker like yourself who has done that as well. But I think speaking a bit more about the illegal, often with films, especially I've spoken to a lot of filmmakers who make films which are on societal subjects or on a particular issue within society. And they often say that it's very difficult to actually evoke a change with those sort of films. But with you, what sort of conversation do you hope to start with the illegal?
So I think we already did some festival rounds. We got really good feedback and great reviews so far, and people are loving it. And we're trying to get a digital platform for it right now. We're trying to get that locked. But at the same time, we have an impact advisor on board who's going to get some people who have a strong voice involved to talk about it and create awareness. That's something I missed doing for half an hour, which I should have done, but it's fine. But this one, I definitely want to create that awareness about, not politically, but more like a human perspective about what's happening right now politically as well. Like, as you can see, like immigration is a big topic right now.
Yes.
And it's very important for people to be aware of these circumstances, of these untold stories of, unsung heroes. So we are definitely going to have that campaign starting end of this month, where we'll have some people with a strong voice sort of talking about this film and tweeting about it and posting about it, writing testimonials and stuff. So we have a really strong impact advisor for that. So that's definitely part of the campaign
Sure.
formally.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think what really scares me a little bit is the fact that these are actually not illegal immigrants, most of them. They actually come on a real visa, on a proper visa, but yet they are forced to work illegally because they're trapped. That's just the circumstance. And I think that's what's very scary is the fact that it's not your typical illegal immigration story where they're, snuggled into the country or, sort of come in by illegal means. It's just the fact that they've been caught up in illegal circumstances, and that's not even because of them. And I think that's what really sort of
Not their fault.
shocked me.
Yes. Circumstances, right? Anyone can relate to that. They can empathize with it. And also, the film is called illegal because that's the whole idea is to say that they're not illegal. They're not just illegal. And it's the title of his screenplay that he finally ends up writing.
Mm.
And I think that's how we have to see it from a more human perspective. There's that lens of empathy, and that's needed right now.
Mm.
Empathy, and I mean, you can see what's going on right now, and the people who are ruling this world right now, and the stuff they're putting out there. It's scary, so
Yeah,
we need films like these. I feel like people like tend go towards more empathy and
yeah.
understanding, and
I
you
think,
know
yeah, just generally, I think regardless of what the world is, I think we just need more human stories, and I think we need more stories which connect with us on a more emotional level, and I think this is definitely among them, for sure. But obviously, I know you just mentioned about, I mean, you talk about the campaign and stuff, but I know you just touched on how you hope to take the film forward. But if you could elaborate a bit more on how you hope to take the film forward once lockdown is over, what are your plans on that exactly?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to go digital for sure. There's no theatrical option anymore, and we don't want to delay any. We already delayed for 2-3 months right now because of this whole corona.
Mm.
We were supposed to be in a few more festivals through May and then get the film out. So we're delayed, we're behind, like any other film, which is from late 2019. But what I'm saying is, like, once we go digital, it'll also create awareness through
Yeah.
people like people who have a strong voice from not politically, but also like humanitarian voices
Yes.
to sort of talk about it, tweet about it, spread the word. So
Mm.
that's something we're looking at. That's what I was actually referring to. So we
Okay.
do have someone who's working,
Right.
like 10 more people, like who have a strong voice, sort of talk about it, speak about it, and spread the word.
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
it's the best way as well, to be honest. Because obviously nowadays, if we see a lot of the mainstream films that release in cinemas, people actually realize and appreciate it more when it comes on the digital space. So I think it's a very good a good technique to sort of have it on the digital space rather than theatrical, because I think definitely will connect with a lot more people. And also, I think I wanted to sort of touch upon as well, Danish. The film is a very humble crossover between Eastern and Western cinema. We're sort of having American actors as well as Indian actors. So, I mean, what is your view on this new bridge that's kind of happened nowadays that we're seeing? What is your view on that? Do you think it's been a long time coming?
yeah, I mean, it's time to bring these two worlds together. I mean, I think it started with Meera Nair and Deepa Mehta. They've already done it and they've tried it, and I think I want to sort of join that bandwagon, I guess. Uh, but my whole idea is to definitely get people from all the world like come together and tell stories from the East, which are actually like giving diversity and diversity is such a big thing right now, right?
Yes. Mm,
Voices from India or any other South Asian um, sort of territories come in here in US and be appreciated for not just those cliched biased characters that we've seen before, but more like stories like Illegal, where you have a character who's from India, but anyone can relate to it in
mm,
US as well. It could be Bangladeshi, it could be an American student, it could be anyone, right? So I think it's very important to sort of make these stories as I would say like normal, like
normalize it,
part
humanize it. Mm,
normal, yet probably part of the mainstream eventually. I
right.
think it's very important right now because you always see Indian characters or Pakistani characters or Muslim characters, I would say, in a certain way,
Mm,
and a lot of people have like people like Rez Ahmed and Hassan Minhaj and
mm,
Dev Patel. They've been fighting against. I mean, they've been now so mainstream. I think they've already doing that, and I think I
yeah.
want to join that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad you touched upon that. Even if you see in a lot of Bollywood films, you'll see like a villain would be like even a Hindu character as well that would have like a tilak on their head and
There
all of
you go.
these things and
Okay.
villainize them. So definitely, there's been a lot of stereotypes which need to break. But I think speaking on that topic as well, how long do you think are we away from actually having a very stereotypical free industry where we just portray Indians or South Asians as ordinary people who are just like Americans? Do you know what I mean? So how further away are we from
I think it's there. I mean, the success of Parasite and it winning Oscars, it's
that? Yeah.
already an answer to that question. So I think now more films like Parasite, not just from that country, but from India also. I feel like the films that are sent for Oscars from India are not the right films. Still, I feel like just between us or whatever, I just feel like it's still
Oh yeah,
very biased.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
between us anymore.
yeah.
Biased, and I feel like it's still very politically motivated. The choices they make.
Oh, true.
I mean, there's some beautiful films in India that could win an Oscar, just like Parasite did. But those films need to get a chance and a
Oh,
platform and being sent. You know,
yes, no,
so
no, spot on. I think that's absolutely spot on. I think even last year as well, like there was some amazing regional films that we had. I mean, there was a film called Hello, a Gujarati film. We
here
had
we go.
Super Deluxe as
To
well.
be sent for Oscars. Anyways,
Yeah,
but it's just I don't know, like that needs to change somehow. The
mm.
singing and dancing films are not going to win an Oscar. They want to see more than that. They want to see real life, real stories of real people in India.
And I think the Western cinema has become so accustomed to seeing India portraying slums, and
Certain way, right?
it's really
Yeah.
it's kind of पानी अब सर से जा चुका है. It's just like, come on, man. There's a lot more to
It's
Indian
either
cinema than
dance
that.
or it's like singing and dancing, right? So I think if we have more stories, like you said, a lot of regional films are so amazing. They just need to
Yeah,
get a chance, and I think that needs to, like, if more films like these come out, I'm sure if there's success to it, there's awareness, I'm sure those films will finally get a chance and platform, and
yeah,
finally, we recognize like film like Parasite did, which did commercially so well in
yes,
US,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and
Spot on. Mm.
it's no different. Like it's not in English either. You know,
Exactly.
imagine.
Very true. Like cinema itself is a language, and I think that's the most key point here and the key focus.
I think Iranian directors have already done that, like Majid Majidi, even like Asghar Farhad. I mean, their films have already done commercially well here and got so much recognition because of the right films being sent by those countries to be
Mm,
recognized or the Golden Globes or and got into right festivals. So I think I see that's happening from India as well. I just hope that they also get a platform like these films are getting.
definitely, no,
And
absolutely.
there's a lot of push from the country as well. It's not just it's
Yeah,
the whole film is actually it's like a village. It's not just one
yeah,
person thing, right?
indeed,
There's a lot
indeed.
of yeah.
I totally agree with that point as well. But finally, after lockdown, Danish, what are your plans? I mean, what sort of films are you hoping to make now? I mean, would you? I mean, I know you mentioned that you're very close to Neelamaji, so would you consider casting Ishan in any of your films anytime
Oh, I
soon?
love you. He also worked with me in Half Video. He was my first AD,
Oh,
Ishan.
wow, wow, okay, yeah, that's a lovely
Very talented, very talented, an amazing guy, and incredibly talented. I love Beyond the Clouds. His work was amazing,
yeah,
and yes, I want to work with him. So
yeah,
he's definitely in my list of people I want to work with. But yeah, I'm working on two films right now.
okay,
One is set in Kashmir, and one is set here in America. The scripts are done. We are trying to figure out the casting, so it's very exciting times, and
wow.
I'm just praying that it goes over so I can get started with those. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that
So
sounds very
yeah,
exciting.
I think I lost you.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Yeah, there's
yeah,
some.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It could just pause for a split second, so I paused as well just to wait and see until it catches up. But yeah. So you were saying that you're just waiting for the casting now for those two films.
Yeah.
Lovely. Wow, that sounds incredible, and I can't wait to hear more about that once obviously things are finalized a bit more. But Danish, thank you so much for joining UK Asian Film Festival for this amazing Q&A. And once again, a huge congratulations on the legal.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, spread the word, and we need people like you who can, talk about the film, get the word out, and
Yes.
appreciate us. Thank you
Oh, definitely. It's honestly our pleasure. But please do take good care of yourself and hope to catch up with you very soon. Thank you very much.
so much. Anuj. Take care. Okay.
Thank you.